Hello, in this recording, we're going to look at a particular requirement that requires changes in variable pay, which is when a customer wants to load earnings that are already prorated to be considered to calculate the target amount of each assignment an employee was in during the year. So here, instead of getting a salary from Employee Central from the pay component group or from a pay component, the customer wants to be able to load their own data that is not in Employee Central, and that data is already prorated by the time spent in this particular assignment. So they get it from finance and they want to be able to load it in here instead of the salary. But they want to remove the proration that is core in variable pay that is built into variable pay here with these two start date and end date. So that's pretty complicated to do, but there is one way to do that, which we're going to look at in this recording. So first, let's just discuss the proration that I mentioned is built into variable pay. So this proration is based on the start date and the end date of each assignment. And there's this document here that I will add as a link in the post with this recording, the SAP blog post, which allows you to see how much the proration will be when you launch the worksheet. So it's kind of a simulator that you can use. So the dates that you get in the standard start date, end date will automatically calculate a proration which will be applied to the value in the field target amount. So when you open the worksheet, you will actually see, you won't see the target amount here, you will see this target amount multiplied by the proration that is calculated based on these dates. And so that's what we are trying to avoid here, because the customer said the value I load in here instead of the salary is already prorated, so I don't want to reprorate it. So let's take a look at how to do that. So the first thing we want to do is go to the place where we can edit this employee history background element, which is Manage Business Configuration. And in this background element, which you can find here in the background element, and then you have to go to the one called VARPay Employee History here. This is the one that I have in case you have multiple ones. You can know the one that you should um, select by going to Plan Setup and Settings in your template, and you will see the name of the background element that's tied to your template. So if I click here, now I want to add three new fields. So the two first ones are going to be custom start date and custom end date. So let's do that together. Start date, we can call it custom start date as enabled yes, and then custom end date enabled yes. And we're going to give them labels and also field names. So that's the type of the field. So it's a date, so we can use DFLD1 for this one. And then scroll down and say start date, both in label here and default label. Click done. And then same thing for custom end date, except we're going to select DFLD2 this time. And then scroll down and label end date. And done. And now we're going to move them up to be right after the start date and end date, the standard ones from the background element. Okay, so we have our setup here. The last thing we want to do is we want to hide these two fields because the hidden here controls whether the fields will show when you launch the worksheet on the worksheet when you click on view detail. This is what it controls. So we want these fields to disappear from there because what will load in these fields eventually will be the same dates for all assignments as the program dates, so that the proration becomes 100% for each assignment. And then the actual dates we'll take them from here and then we'll put them in here. So that's the first step. And then we need one more, which is earnings. We're gonna build a new file called earnings instead of salary, and then we're going to make it a money field. which would be one of these FFLD. So we can do FFLD1. FFLD1 actually might already be in use, and I'm not sure which one is being used. So I'm going to go with FFLD6. It's really unlikely it's in use already. And then give it a name, so earnings. And we want it to display, yes, enable yes, hidden no. So that's good, and we're going to move it up by the salary. And finally, we can just hit save. Yes. So the next step now is to edit the set bonus calculation of a variable pay worksheet to, instead of using salary, use the earnings that will be loaded by the customer that are already prorated. So we can go ahead and do that before we re-import the data from EC. We can do that from the worksheet, from the template, sorry. Here, incentive planning and plan setup and set bonus calculation. We may have to delete employee history first. Let's do it. And also the worksheet that was maybe there. No, there was no worksheet. So let's go to settings, set bonus calculation. And then here, now that we have this new field, which is going to change salary into earnings. And then you can decide whether you want to keep salary there or not. So that's all we have to do, and then save. Okay. Once we have this, we can now rerun import employee history from Employee Central. And we want we want all the records here. So we want to make sure this is unchecked. And we want to trigger the run bonus calculation at the end of the job. So we can click process. And then I will pause this recording until the job has finished, is completed. Let's wait until it starts showing, and then, yes, it's showing here. So I'll pause it and then start again. Okay, so the job just finished completed, including the run bonus calculation. So we can go back to our employee history, and we'll look at the changes we need to make in this employee history to load the already prorated earnings and to make sure we put the dates in the right place. Okay, we have something here that's a little problematic, which is that we call them the two custom columns we added for start date and end dates are called exactly the same than the standard ones. So we want to make sure that we know how to differentiate them. So we're going to go back to manage business configuration and just change the label of the standard ones. So here I click on these ones, and then I'm going to say start date, hidden, standard. Yeah, hidden standard. And same thing for end date. Okay, and I can save. And we don't have to rerun a job because we just changed the label, which is not a showstopper here. If we were to change the ID of one of these fields, then we would have to rerun the job. So let's go back to our template and look at our employee history again. So this looks better. Now we know where we need to take the dates from, where to put them. So these ones will be the ones that will be displayed on the worksheet when we launch them, which will reflect the actual assignment dates. And these ones here will have the program date, which is 1/1/2022 to 12/31/2022 in each of the assignments, so that the proration is removed, the proration impact. Um, and then also we want, at the same time that we'll be doing this, we want to load the earnings, which will be less, a little bit less than the salary for each of the assignments. So let's do that. We can do so by selecting the record here and then clicking export selected data or export data will give you, both will give you the same. If you want, you can have the employee name, then export. You get this particular message. From here, you can go to reports and you can click on the first one here, eligibility and proration. Not that we want to run that particular one, but on the right side, you can see schedule reports here, which will take you directly to, without making you leave composition, it will take you to the scheduled jobs in the one you just triggered. And so here it's completed, so we can download it. And all we want to do is open it, really click on it from the downloads. And what we need to do here is take these two dates and paste them in here. And we also want to load the earnings. So let's say the earnings we said are the amounts that people were actually paid on their bank account. So it's not the full-time salary for, so it would probably be something more like 35 if we take all the taxes, and the 401k 35,000. So that would be a good estimate here. And so it's already prorated. So actually, no, actually it would be different. This one would be because it's only a couple months from 1/1/2022, which is not really reflected here. So this actually, we can see here that one step that I missed is that we need to align the start date will always be the start date of the job info record. So we have to set this, because this is going to be displayed to the user. We have to put it as 1/1/2022 here. So from 1/1/2022 to 2/23, that's only maybe 10% of the year. So we're going to do an earnings that's going to look more like 9,000, and then the rest is the rest of the year, so that would be more like 29,000. So we are loading already prorated earnings that we got from finance, and we still want them to be multiplied again the target percent of each user that is an Employee Central. And we wanted to populate the basis field here called target amount. So we're good here. We've got the dates. Oh yeah, no, we're not good yet. We need to these dates, so that we need to set them to 1/1/2022 to 12/31/2022 on each of them. And copy paste on all the assignments. So you can take all the assignments, work on the whole file at once, and then copy paste the dates here. Here on the custom ones that will display on the worksheet, we're good. So we just need to save now and then load this into here. We go back to edit employee history. And we go to here to import data. We choose the file that was in the downloads. And this is the one, 3:10 p.m. We select it and then we import it. If there are issues on the dates format, especially if you're based in Europe, you will have a different date format. So you will get an error message here, most likely, that will tell you that something went wrong. And so you can track this job here under completed. So let's see here, download status. 2 records imported. So now we can go and check by doing a blank search in edit employee history. Let's see if everything went as we wanted. 1/1/2022 to 12/31/2022. And here 1/1/2022 to 2/23/2022. And then, yep, everything's good on the dates, and then the earnings. Yes, 9,000 times 10 times 0 0.1 is 900, and then 29,000 multiplied by 15 or 0.15 is this. So we're good to go. We can launch a worksheet. Um, we may want to run bonus calculation. This is always recommended step before launching worksheets. So let's do it. Respect the process of variable pay. Variable pay is a very um, step-by-step module. If you skip a step, you maximize your chances of failure. So let's make sure we run bonus calculation, and then we'll launch a worksheet and we'll see the outcome on the worksheet. Oh, it's completed already, it looks like. Yes, so that's the one. And so we can go ahead and launch our worksheets for the manager of this person that was in my employee history, Michael Pittman. Okay, so we should be checking here to see if the job is running, has finished running, completed. Okay, it says one plan created successfully, so now we can go ahead and check. It goes to comp admin in the first step. And so here it is. This is the plan we created. And so we're just going to look at the information there and make sure everything's okay. And so now we have a target incentive amount. Let's see. So we can see the start date are correct, but the proration impact is removed. So we have, um, I think it was, so it was 15, the earnings was 29. So let's just make sure. Again, I forgot 29,000 times 0.15 equal, yeah, so that's correct. So that's what we wanted here. And then we can see proration is at 100%. So you can also hide this field through standard field-based permissions. So it's really easy to hide. And then individual contributor should be 900. Yep. So that's what we had. So this is how you remove proration in variable pay and allow your customer to upload their earnings that they get from finance and that are already prorated. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.